And it is time for another classic JP and the Beans Top 5. Would you introduce today's top 5 for us?
So Jordan told me I had to come up with a top 5.
It's true, I did.
So
gun to head.
Yeah, it was rough. I was crying. So
kind of like the Punisher torture scene.
Yeah, a little bit.
Drill your whole your whole. Jeez, your foot is bleeding. Pat, I'm so sorry. You say things now.
Anywho, so we always talk about characters when we're doing our top 5s. Minus the one time we did weapons. So
True.
I thought it would be fun
Yep.
if we did the top 5. Our top 5 favorite locations in comics.
Yes.
Really get the setting going.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is a hero without their locales, their locations, their fights?
It's a great question.
So
it's a great question.
Why don't you start us off?
I would love to.
It's weird me saying that. Usually you tell me I have to start.
No, but kudos to you.
No,
this is
your fault. You had to break the trend. You're supposed to come up with all the ideas, and I'm supposed to be the fun-loving. I go along with it.
Wild card.
I am the wild card.
I love it. Okay, so my top 5. My number 5 is going to be Atlantis. Now, wait a minute, you say. Which Atlantis? Atlantis exists in both the DC and Marvel universe. Great question. Glad you asked. My personal favorite Atlantis version falls in the DC universe.
As it should.
As it should. Yep. It is, in my humble opinion, vastly more fleshed out in the DC side than it is in the Marvel side. People may want to fight me and die on that hill. Great, let's fight and die together. But in particular, the more recent run of Aquaman comics that came out in the New 52 spent a good chunk of their time, written by Jeff Johns, fleshing out the world and legacy of Atlantis. So we got Nick French, which was fantastic. We got old Atlantis and the Forgotten Kingdom. Oh, that sounds like a movie. Interesting. There was just so much more than, BT dubs, it's underwater and it's hidden. That was very worthwhile, right? There's kingdoms and yet sub-kingdoms within Atlantis. It felt like what it probably should have all along, which is, let's see, there's this much land in the world and so much more water. Oh, yes, that kingdom should be massive and wild. And I think DC and their version of Atlantis has done that very well.
Fair enough.
So there you go. That's my number 5, Atlantis.
My number 5 is the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Nice.
I feel like that'd be a fun place to be around. Magic, and by the way, who's better to protect you than Stephen Strange?
Oh,
right.
I tell you what, if you can hook me up with the tankard of ale that Thor has, which refills
and hang out with Wong all day, that's great.
Wong's a great hang.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and there's a library. I mean, you get to nerd out a little bit, read. Heavens.
I'm sure you get one cool item when you leave. Oh,
right. Yes, that's a great perk. Yeah. I like that a lot. Good.
So that's my number 5.
Good one.
My number 4, and this was originally higher up, but I kept finding cooler things. So number 4, I have Wakanda as a whole.
Okay.
Because I think, well, first of all, they're way more technologically advanced, so I think that'd be really cool. Yep. I feel like if you're gonna get hurt anywhere, that's probably the best place to get hurt.
Sure.
Right? I'm sure their medical expertise is through the roof. Right?
Yeah, so freaking Agent Ross gets shot in the spine and they heal him up right nice. Yeah. Pretty rapidly.
I can ride a rhino whenever I want.
Oh my goodness. Of course.
So Wakanda's my number 4.
Yeah. Love that. My number 4, coming over to the Marvel side here is Asgard. And not just Asgard, mind you, but the world tree, right? Like the realms of Asgard. Because Asgard in and of itself, I don't think has ever been particularly well fleshed out. Like it's kind of this mesh of whatever you imagine heaven and the Garden of Eden could be. It's like, this is kind of perfect, unsullied perfection. But the fact that it's more of the hub to then branch out into Nidavellir and Jotunheim and just these worlds that have and realms that have phenomenal names, by the way. It's this magical access point to all these different places, and somehow Midgard ends up in there. Interesting. Freaking Earth shows up all the time. If either one of us says Earth, by the way, is one of their favorite places, we're done.
Yeah, we talked about that beforehand.
Yeah.
We can confidently say it's not on there because that's a cop out.
That's really good. So Asgard, and by extension, the Nine Realms, absolutely love that. Okay, jumping back onto the DC side, the Dark Multiverse is my number 3.
Ew.
Oh yeah. So not because I'd like to hang out there. In fact, this is a place that I would decidedly, most definitely, not want to be at all ever. But the concept of this location, mind blowing for me. So it comes up in Dark Knight's Metal, which again, if you haven't read it, do yourself a favor, freaking read it. Borrow it from me. If you're listening to this, you know who I am. I'll loan it to you. It's incredible. The concept here is that when you have a fear or a literal nightmare, it births a world that embodies that fear and that nightmare. So just imagine your nightmare turns into its own freaking world, right?
So a whole world where I'm on stage naked.
Sorry. Yes. Very much so. Tough. Quite tough.
Is that a nightmare? Anyways.
You just confessed. So it's played out so well in the sense that when you are worried about, like, obviously in this case, Batman's worried about what if I turn against my friends, and so you have all these evil, dark versions of Batman come into the multiverse to try and take it over. So it's just such a cool concept and so relatable because it's like I had a nightmare recently, and yeah, that'd be terrifying. I would not like that as a world. Thank you, no, thank you. So
agreed.
That's my number 3, the Dark friggin' Multiverse.
My number 3 is the Watchtower. Because like I was telling you before this, New York is boring. Okay, the fact that in Marvel, there are 95 superheroes in New York alone. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people there. You definitely need more heroes there. But like...
Also, New York, get your stuff together. Yeah. You shouldn't need that many.
Well, think about this.
Stop it.
We have Los Angeles. You have San Francisco, okay?
You got Des Moines. Oh, wait. That's not what we're doing.
Okay, kind of, yeah. There's parts.
Gainesville. No, still wrong.
Yeah, it's not even close. But... Houston, Austin, Oklahoma City, Las Vegas. There's no heroes in Las Vegas. You know how much crime is just in Vegas alone? Do you know what I mean? Miami would be another great one.
True.
Orlando. Can you imagine there's a hero just guarding Disney World?
Freaking Nashville. I'm sorry.
Nashville's great.
Yeah.
Great example. But like, I'm tired of New York. I like the Watchtower. It makes sense. They can teleport anywhere they want to go.
Just awesome.
Everybody's
awesome.
And yet, everybody's together if they need to be.
Yep.
Right? Now, could that backfire if somebody was like, let's blow up the Watchtower? Yeah, that sucks. But at the same time, what are the odds everybody's there at the same time? Unlikely. And you know Batman and Cyborg have all the defenses they could possibly have. It's probably one of the safest places, period.
Loads.
Right?
Yeah.
So... I have to watch Tower 3.
And the view's just great, right? Like, you've got all of space, Earth's down there, the moon, like, just to have, it's just incredible. Yep, absolutely love it. It's great. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is more of a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
There are definitely some what's the word that I want? Backfiring? Sure. There's parts that could backfire. Okay. I have, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters at number 2.
Good pull.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You have Cerebro, you have the Danger Room, and then you just have all these like kids with powers just roaming around. Okay?
You know what? It's Hogwarts before there was Hogwarts.
Correct. Well, you want to go there,
just
right?
Yes.
So now I will say this, okay? Mutants are weird. All right. That's why you have to do the Institute. You cannot do them on Krakoa. Okay. It gets super weird on Krakoa. Okay.
Boundaries.
They all get full of themselves on the whole mutant thing. Okay. Just trust me on that. So I think we keep it old school. We keep it like before it got super weird.
Yeah.
And you just go to the school. Yeah. And does it blow up often? Quite a bit. It blows up quite a bit. But they always rebuild. Blackbird's there.
Clearly got good endurance.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. That's my number 2.
I love that. That's a great number 2. Oh, love that. My number 2 is Wakanda. Also on your list. It stayed up at number 2 for me. And in similar fashion to Atlantis, part of what I enjoy so much about Wakanda is there's depth to it, right? You have all these subcultures within Wakanda. So it's not just like one color. It's a tapestry of colors of social statuses. And it's just a really unique blend of royalty, right? Still ruled by king and queen. And yet it's pretty clear that the people of Wakanda are given a really unique, and by unique, I mean in a monarchy sense, they're given a unique say in how things are run. And can you beat being a whole freaking country that's just hidden?
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's beyond the normal levels of cool. That's just actually incredible. And so to be free of so many of the worries that come from the outside world, and to have, as you mentioned earlier in your great recap, of the medical attention that's quickly available to you, the ground is flourishing, like it's green there always, and yet somehow it seems to not be swampy and sweaty. That's incredible. It truly seems like as close to paradise as you can get.
I agree.
There you go. Wakanda. My number 1, the Batcave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's my number 1.
Yes. How can it not be?
Well, here, I was just thinking of this because it's like, it's the Hall of Justice, but for Batman specifically. Because I was just thinking, because I forgot about the Hall of Justice. And what's cool about the Hall of Justice...
There's so many great locations. It's impossible to keep all.
But you go up to the Hall of Justice, and it would be like a museum for all of that, essentially, right? They have all their greatest victories. Now imagine that just with Batman.
Right.
You know, he's got all the cool stuff. He's a badass. He's got a giant T-Rex and a giant penny. How did he get that giant penny in there?
That is a really worthwhile question.
And how did he get it in there with, like, no one knowing? That's got to be on somebody's invoice. There's no way he just snuck in a giant penny.
Right? Unanswerable question.
Or a T-Rex. Or a giant T-Rex. I love how
he... comics.
Right. No, that's exactly it. But I love how, like, he keeps, like, little trophies from his event. I feel like I hijacked it. So
no, not at all. Okay. Not at all.
Good.
Keep riffing.
Yes, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I love the blend of museum and yet functional freaking, like, battle station.
It's true.
Right? Like, yes, you have the museum of the mementos, and yet you have wall-to-wall gear.
Right.
Incredible. The lighting is low. The bats are there. I think every little boy or grown man imagines his bedroom or office as a freaking bat cave. How can you not?
I just think about the database, the computer.
Yeah.
You know, he's got, like, access to everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. So, like, criminal records, the deep dark web, which would be really interesting and fascinating. But, like, I mean, you can do it all in that sense.
Yeah. It's the pinnacle of cool. It's covert. It's decked out. Nobody can find it. That's wonderful. Truly wonderful. So,
look, I hate the Flash movie, but him wearing a Batman suit, I get it. You gotta try it on at least once.
You do gotta try it on.
So,
no doubt. Batcave,
easy peasy number
one. Make the layups, as we like to say.
Absolutely.
Riles, that is it, my friend.